Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you 8th graders here with us. So today we are tackling something that, let's be honest, can feel like a totally wild, chaotic beast. The research paper. I mean, we've all been there, right? Staring at this massive mountain of information. Maybe you've got like 3 blank Wikipedia pages open, and you're just feeling completely overwhelmed by the whole shebang. But look, I promise you, by the end of our time together today, you're going to see research not as some monster hiding under the bed, but actually as a puzzle that you can easily conquer. We are going to master the art of order. Be real with me for a second here. Have you ever had this happen? It's, say, 11 p.m. the night before your huge paper is due. You vividly remember reading the absolute perfect quote, like the exact one that totally proves your entire point. But you're staring at this messy, disorganized digital wasteland, and you have absolutely no idea where that quote came from. The clock is ticking down, the panic is starting to set in, and you're just desperately scrolling through, 20 open tabs, and 3 of them are somehow playing different YouTube videos at the same time. It's highly relatable, but man, it is incredibly frustrating. You see, taking disorganized notes is literally like a dropped puzzle. Just imagine trying to put together this massive 1,000-piece puzzle, but all the pieces are scattered completely randomly across the floor. Half of them are flipped upside down, and oh yeah, you threw away the box so you don't even know what the final picture is supposed to look like. When your information is scattered like that, it becomes basically impossible to see the big picture. You can't make those crucial connections, and actually writing your paper, well, that just becomes 10 times harder than it actually needs to be. Which brings us to section 1, why organize your notes. Now, I know it might seem like just an annoying extra step that eats up your time up front, but implementing a clear system is honestly the magic trick here. It transforms this massive, overwhelming task into something surprisingly smooth and manageable.
And hey, this isn't just some modern academic rule that your teachers invented just to keep you busy. This is actually a foundational, ancient principle. Take a look at Habakkuk 2:2. It says, "Write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run with it." This connects our academic disciplines straight back to a biblical foundation. Making knowledge plain, structured, and easy to read, that has literally always been crucial. Think about it. If the herald can't read the tablet, they definitely can't run with the message. Your final paper is your message, and your notes, those are your tablet.
So, when you make your notes plain, you actually unlock some pretty incredible benefits. An organized system obviously saves you a ton of time and frustration, so no more of those midnight panics over lost citations, right? But it actually goes way deeper than that. It literally upgrades how your brain processes information. Having a clear system sharpens your thinking. As you write and organize, you suddenly start seeing all these patterns. You notice connections between ideas, and just as importantly, you notice the gaps where you might need to go back and do just a little more research. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 2, 3 methods for note-taking. We know the why, so let's get into the highly practical how-to of our lesson today. How do we actually capture all this information without losing our minds? Well, whenever you sit down to research, there are 3 absolute, non-negotiable steps you must follow to capture information safely and effectively. First up, choose a method. Just pick one and stick to it. Second, write down only the most important points. And make sure you do it in your own words whenever you possibly can. This is your ultimate shield against accidental plagiarism. And third, you absolutely must include the source information. Now, what exactly do I mean by source info? You literally have to staple these exact pieces of information to every single note you take. The author, the title, the date, the page number, or the website link. If you write down a cool fact without this info attached, well, that's what we call an orphan fact. You basically can't use it in your final paper because you can't prove where on earth it came from. So get into the habit of recording this stuff first, like before you even write down the quote. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is you've got options for how you actually build your toolkit. If you're a big tech person, you can totally use digital docs. Like a shared Google Doc is fantastic because you can use distinct headings for each of your research questions. But if you're more of a tactile learner, the classic note card system is absolutely legendary. You write exactly one fact or one quote per index card with that source info right at the top. Or, of course, you can just use a dedicated physical notebook. Honestly, there's no single right way here, only the way that makes your specific brain feel organized. Moving right along to section 3, grouping and organizing ideas. So you've collected all these brilliant facts and amazing quotes, and now we move into the actual mechanics of what you do with them. How do we turn this giant pile of notes into an actual paper? And this brilliantly illustrates the concept. Imagine separating your research so that notes strictly about, say, the causes of the Civil War go into one distinct pile or folder, and the effects of the Civil War go into another entirely separate one. By keeping these subtopics physically or digitally separated, sitting down to make your outline and write that final draft becomes incredibly easy. You just grab the causes pile when you're ready to write the causes paragraph. It's that simple. And to make this even easier, you can use some pretty clever grouping tricks. Remember, using visual cues acts as a kind of map for your brain. For example, you might highlight all your causes in bright yellow and all your effects in neon green. You can use color-coded folders on your laptop or, buy different colored index cards. This visual map guides you straight to the exact fact you need the literal second you need it. All right, time out for a quick surprise check-in. This is straight from your homework list, so let's see who's paying attention. Tell me, why is it so incredibly important to take notes in your own words? Well, if you said to avoid plagiarism, you hit the nail right on the head. Processing that information and rewriting it proves that you actually understand the material, and it completely protects you from accidentally copying someone else's work. Always keep that front of mind as you tackle your assignments. Okay, before we wrap things up today, let's look at Section 4, Education, Morality, and Peace. I want us to take a breath here. Let's just slow down for a second and really reflect on the big picture of why we are even learning all of this in the first place. This brings us right to the foundational philosophy of the Godly Learners series. Education without morality will hurt. It really is such a profound truth. I mean, think about it. What is the actual point of being incredibly smart, highly educated, and knowing how to write the most perfect, well-researched paper if you just take all that education and continue to make choices that bring pain to yourself or to the people around you? Academic skills are fantastic tools, for sure, but ultimately, your morality is what determines how you use those tools. So the really crucial point here is this. Intertwining biblical morality with your academic research is the true secret to experiencing peace of mind. Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. And this is the experience we see time and time again. When you bring honesty, integrity, and a spiritual mindset into your schoolwork, you don't just get a good grade. You actually experience true, lasting peace of mind. Which leaves us with this final, vital question I want you to ask yourselves today. Are you just getting smart? Or are you getting wise? Look, anyone can learn to organize a stack of index cards, but true mastery, that's pursuing moral wisdom just as rigorously as you pursue your research. So as you look at your next blank page, ask yourself, what kind of life is this education actually building? Keep organizing, keep questioning, and I will see you in the next explainer.